Yes, started? Okay. So, good morning. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm always really excited to be on this class. I did take a class a few weeks ago with Miriam Adahan, and she gave me permission to give over this information to you. So, she is a very important person in the field of psychology. And we spoke last week. If you missed the class from last week, it is on the YouTube, Nechama, Tzipporah, Kessler. I have a channel, and it's the last week's class. So if you missed that class, or you want to write down the information, because it is really, really important. So she's an eminent psychologist, and she's written many, many books, and she's a real expert. I don't know if she'd like me to call her an expert because she's a very humble person, but on depression and anxiety. So I got permission to give over some of her teachings that we did learn. I did go over last week some things about her a revolutionary discovery that she found out about quite a few years ago, but I did want to go over it a little bit because I didn't give all the information about it. So if possible, everybody should get the genetic test for the MTHFR gene mutation. So there is what's called a gene mutation in many people's bodies, and at this point I think statistically they say I think 40% of the population of the world has this mutation. So if you have it, you are more prone to certain things. So I'd like to go over what you may be, the symptoms that you may have if you have this genetic mutation. Now, it's not just emotional and psychological, like we spoke about last week, but people who do have this gene mutation, they may suffer from anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, PTSD, OCD, chronic fatigue, ADD, ADHD, problems with concentration, with focusing, with memory. So I think that's about 99.9% of us, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean you have the gene mutation. It could just be, we are aging a bit, right? Not all of us, of course. Some of us are going the other way. Immune. So your immune system can be very challenged. You may have fibromyalgia, candida, Epstein-Barr, MS, CMV, lupus, arthritis, cancer, and inflammation. So, I find that very interesting because many, many years ago, I went to my doctor, wasn't feeling well at all, and he took blood tests, and he said, you have had the Epstein-Barr virus. I didn't even know I ever even had it. Just like some people now have gotten the coronavirus and they didn't even know that they had it. I know some people like that. Like a friend of mine, she had a very bad case, and I see Elise is raising her hand. Yeah. So sometimes you've even had these viruses and you don't even know. So that's why I really would love everybody to go onto their doctor and get this blood test, because you may not even know that you have some of these symptoms or some of these viruses in your body, and it would be good to know, because then we can work with vitamins, nutrition, different things to help you feel better and to have your immune system be healthier. I am a health, wellness, and positivity coach, so I can certainly help you with those things if you'd like me to. Or you can go to other people. There's plenty of people out there. But, so other symptoms that you may have: cardiovascular, headaches, migraines, varicose veins, hemorrhoids, strokes, heart attacks, recurrent miscarriage or stillbirth, a high homocysteine level. So I didn't even realize that I had this, and I had 5 miscarriages in my life, in my whole childbearing life, and I didn't even know I had this gene mutation. And if I had known then and corrected it, obviously it wasn't my particular, path in life to find out about it earlier. I could have probably corrected or used the supplements to correct it and had more children. I ended up, thank God, with 3 children. Very, very lucky. I'm not complaining. I'm grateful. But I did have 5 miscarriages, and I didn't even realize that I had this gene mutation. So this is a very important factor for young people to know. So if you're dealing with young people, or you know of young people, who are having miscarriages, it's very, very possible that they have this gene mutation. And it's not something that doctors just do automatically. You do have to request it. It's not just automatically that they do this. It's called the MTHFR gene mutation. It's the MTHFR enzyme gene mutation. So another one, I'm just amazed at this because I had so many of these symptoms and the doctors didn't even know that I had this. I suffered from anemia a lot when I was younger, and nobody could figure it out. And I used to try to take, iron and this thing and that thing, and it didn't really help me very much when I was younger. So anemia deficiency can be due to a deficiency of iron, B9 or B12. And you may have normal B12 but lack folate, which is B9, or vice versa. So when cells do not receive sufficient oxygen, this can cause chronic fatigue, depression, frequent miscarriages, fertility problems, or retardation in babies. So this is like super, super important information, because a lot of people, there are all kinds of organizations dealing with fertility. They may not even know that this is caused by the gene mutation of the MTHFR. It's a little hard to remember that, MTHFR. But birth defects can be caused by it, neurological overreactivity, epilepsy, autism spectrum disorders, Asperger's, Parkinson's, MS, diabetes, ALS. All these things can be affected by this gene mutation. Hormonal. Now, I think almost everybody at this point, we realize that we are dealing with hormonal imbalances for most of us, especially, as we get older. But, if you have this gene mutation, it may be even more than other people. Goiter, thyroid issues, hyper or hypo, which I have hypothyroidism, infertility, PCOS, dysmenorrhea, I don't know what that is, PMS, endometriosis, metabolic disorders, postpartum depression, premature puberty. So a lot of people these days are suffering from a lot of these things, and it may just be this gene mutation. Skin problems, and I realize now when both my daughters, they have this gene mutation. All my kids have it. It's hereditary. And my daughters had problems getting pregnant. And I didn't even realize at that time, that was many, many years ago already, that they had this gene mutation. I just found out about this recently. So skin problems, acne, candida, eczema, psoriasis, and other skin irritations. Digestive issues, celiac, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, constipation, indigestion, reflux, heartburn, etc. And sleep disorders. This includes insomnia and fatigue. Despite adequate sleep, you can feel very tired if you have this gene mutation. And allergies, asthma, celiac, sensitivities to dust, pollen, or food allergens, including gluten, nuts, eggs, and milk. So this is like super important information that I wanted to educate you about. I am so thrilled that Miriam Anahan found out this information. She passed it on to us in a class, and I really encourage everybody, please go out, get a blood test, because there's a lot we can do to counterbalance this gene mutation, and I will speak about all of that. I did speak about some of it last week, so you can go back and listen to that YouTube. I did speak about some of the the things you can do, and I'm going to expand upon it. A lot of people tell me that they don't want the YouTubes to be too long, so people these days don't have much of an attention span, so I wonder how many of them have this gene mutation, because the attention span of most people is like really, really low. I don't even know if a lot of you know, like there are like 1 minute YouTubes that, it'll be like a meaningful minute. And like those are the most popular YouTubes that there are, because like most people can't even sit for that long anymore. Our attention span has been so reduced. But if you have this gene mutation, this enzyme is responsible for metabolizing, that's how you say it, metabolizing B9 and B12. In some people, the reduction is minor, but in quite a few people of this population, they have an 80% reduction in their ability to metabolize B9 and B12, and it causes great physical and emotional misery. So I'm going to end the recording part of this video now. You can contact me just by email, NechamaTK1234 at Gmail, NECHAMATK1234 at Gmail. Or you can watch the YouTubes to get more information about this. And if you do contact me by email, I'm happy to give out my phone number. Moshe doesn't really want me to give it out on the YouTube because it's public. But if you do have any other questions or comments, so we're going to end the recording now and open up for any questions that you might have that I might be able to answer. If not, I'll investigate it and look for some answers for you. But I really, really hope and pray, because we want to save as many people as we can from physical, emotional, mental, spiritual difficulties, especially now. There's so many people suffering. And go out and get those blood tests and let me know, because it's really important. And I did take the blood test a few years ago, and I've been taking the supplements to counteract it, and I feel so much better. It really, really helps. So with that, I'm just going to end the recording. Mwah! Love you all. And I'll open up for questions and comments now. So